Mr. Patel, I have 3 or 4 things, and I'll try to get through them quickly. First is this. When it comes to the issue of violence in politics, I personally believe it has no place in politics, whether it's violence against Donald Trump at the Butler County Fairgrounds or violence against Nancy Pelosi's husband in her home, period. And those people who, Proud Boys, whatever the heck they call themselves, have no place in this country as far as I'm concerned if they espouse violence in any form. Do you agree?
Yes, Senator.
Let the record show we actually agreed on something. Number 2, the reason why we keep asking, which may sound a little silly to the audience here, why are we so concerned about this choir singing a song? What's that got to do with anything? The question is, who are you going to care about? Who are you going to help? Are you going to help those victims of January 6th, the policemen and their families? Or are you going to help people who were arrested for assaulting them? I think the J6 choir looks like a tribute to them, characterizing them as political prisoners and unlucky and just patriotic people who may have gotten out of hand. Do you see the difference?
Excuse me, Senator, I can appreciate the difference, but I think my track record shows which side I fall on.
Well, that's why we keep asking you. What do you do with the money that you get from this music, and who do you give it to? And you've really kind of ducked and dodged and said, I'm not aware of this. I had nothing to do with it.
No, we actually give all the money. Nobody made any money. All proceeds went through a 501c3.
I'm talking about the creation of the musical work.
Yes, all the money, all the profits went to nonviolent offenders' families and other groups in need.
The point I'm getting to is not what happens to the proceeds, but who created this musical masterpiece, who was in on this creation, and why, who they chose to be the members of the choir. And you profess to know nothing about that. Is that true?
I did not have any participation in the recording.
Well, it's going to be difficult to understand how you can disperse the money and have nothing to do with the recording. Let me ask you about one of the conspiracy theories, one of the major ones that I've heard you associated with, and that is whether or not the FBI planned January 6th. Why did you say that?
Senator, I appreciate the opportunity to address that. That's not what I said. The entirety of the statement attributes my conclusion based on the public record that the FBI utilized sources in and around January 6th, and the Biden Inspector General confirmed just that.
So it's Cash's Corner, and the date is December the, I can't read the writing, it's so small here. It looks like it's December 2002. And what did the FBI know before January 6th? And you said, what was the FBI doing planning January 6th for a year? I want to send this down to the desk so he gets a chance to look at it. Why did you say that? Did you think the FBI was really planning January 6th for a year?
Actually, Senator, I'm grateful that you raised this point. You should watch the entirety of the episode. This is the problem with taking snippets. Well, let me inform you then. What it says is it raises an interrogatory asking why government resources were utilized. I've run resources and sources at the FBI. I've run sources overseas. It takes months for source developmental networks.
What resources were utilized a year in advance of planning?
That's the question I'm asking, and the Biden Inspector General report answered that question in the affirmative, that multiple sources were utilized, and I was simply trying to get to that answer.
What the Inspector General came back with was, quote, there is no evidence that the FBI had undercover employees in the various protest crowds or at the Capitol on January 6th.
And there is
no evidence.
There's a huge distinction between undercover employees and sources. I know because I ran them. And anybody in law enforcement knows that too.
Do you think the FBI was planning January 6th for months ahead of time?
Once again, that's not what I said.
Yes, well, read your own words. Maybe that's a good starting point. I'd just say one last thing. We've talked a lot about fentanyl and stopping it from coming to the United States. If you were successful in becoming head of the FBI, I wish you good luck and do everything I can to help you. But don't forget there's traffic moving in the opposite direction. What are we sending back to Mexico and the cartels? Money and guns. Money and guns. Please look at the whole equation. We've got to deal with all aspects of it.
That's a great point. I will, Senator.
I yield.